And it starts here in Detroit. In the auto industry, Detroit's leading the world in electric vehicles. You know how critical it is? Mary, I can remember talking to you way back in January about the need for America to lead in electric vehicles. And I can remember your dramatic announcement that by 2035, GM would be 100% electric. You changed the whole story, Mary, wherever you are. There you are. You did, Mary. You electrified the entire automobile industry. I'm serious. You led, and it matters. And Dan and Debbie are responsible for the additional tax credit of $4,500 for union-made vehicles.
And Mr. President, you are the first president that I can recall standing up and using the word union.
From EV charging infrastructure to advanced technologies, we are leading the way.
Hey, I'm Stephen and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So in today's video, I'm going to be exposing the collusion and the corruption between the United Auto Workers Union, General Motors, and the current President of the United States of America.
Let's go, Brandon!
Sorry guys, I don't know what that was. Moving along. This is something that is very important and needs to be discussed. Now, I've seen a few people on YouTube in particular recently, I don't want to get political, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? I don't give a flying f***. I am going to get political. This shit needs to be called out. I won't stand for it. It is obscene, brazen corruption. Just absolutely shameless, and I need to speak my mind. The current President of the United States of America is currently in bed with both the United Auto Workers Union and General Motors, giving credit that is due to Tesla, to GM, implying unequivocally, literally you saw in the introduction, that GM are leading the way with electric vehicles, that they're forcing the entire industry to move to EVs. You led, and it matters.
You electrified the entire automobile industry. I'm serious. You led, and it matters.
This is so comically inaccurate, it defies belief. It hurts to hear. The question I want to answer in today's video, by exploring and examining the evidence and following the breadcrumbs, is why on earth would the President of the United States so brazenly, repeatedly, and obviously lie to the public? Is there collusion between General Motors, the United Auto Workers Union, and the Democratic Party? Is there some form of corruption within the White House? What on earth is going on? And just for the record, I'm not here to comment on any other aspects of the Biden presidency. After all, the latest polls are probably doing that on my behalf. At this point in time, the most recent polling suggesting that Biden has an approval rating of a whopping 38%. I specifically want to talk about how he's dealing with electrification, electric vehicles, and completely snubbing Tesla. Whether or not you live in the United States, this is an incredibly important video. Your eyes must be open to the way the real world works. And this is an incredible, compelling insight into brazen, shameless, out in the open corruption. In a nutshell, the White House actively hates Tesla and Elon Musk. This is not up for debate. This is a fact grounded in reality. And in response, to show how I personally feel about this rife anti-Tesla corruption within the White House, I'm pleased to announce I've just dropped some ultra limited edition Let's Go Brandon merch. Check out the card in the corner or the link in the description to pick up your own. As I said, this is limited edition, so if you're interested, don't mess around. Now is the time to order. There are shirts, long sleeves, hoodies, mugs, tank tops, phone cases, phone tough cases, singlets, stickers, you name it, it's in the merch store. And if you have no idea what on earth this design means or signifies, that's okay, I'm not going to bother explaining it. So with that said, let's get into the video. If you love crypto, stocks, and free stuff, or just want to help out the channel, check out these great offers. BlockFi are launching the world's first Bitcoin rewards credit card. People in the US can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase with no annual fee using the BlockFi Bitcoin rewards credit card. Check out the link in the description. And for a limited time, you can get up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, where you can use cryptocurrency to earn interest, borrow cash, and buy or sell crypto. If you want your free crypto, use the link in the description. And if you'd like up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $300 just for opening an account. And if you make an initial deposit of $5 or more, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $2,000. Seriously, free stocks? Yes, please. And finally, if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also linked in the description. Thanks so much for your support, guys. Let's get back to it.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. and thank you for joining us. We are so honored that President Biden is here as General Motors and our nation make positive strides toward a future with more jobs in the U.S. and zero emissions. As we have said, we are investing $35 billion in electric vehicles and autonomous vehicle programs globally from 2020 to 2025. From EV charging infrastructure to advanced technologies, we are leading the way with innovation and investment.
Leading the way. Mary B.S. Barra, CEO of General Motors, claiming that General Motors is leading the way when it comes to electric vehicles in terms of both innovation and investment. This is absolutely unbelievable. Ask the leader of Volkswagen who's leading the way in terms of electric vehicles. Herbert Diess will say in no uncertain terms, it's Tesla. We need to learn from them. They are the leaders. We are trying to catch up to Tesla. Ask Jim Farley, CEO of Ford. Hey, Jim, who's leading the way in electric vehicles? Who's innovating faster than everybody else? Who do you want to learn from? Who do you want to catch up to? Farley will say the same thing. They've literally both publicly credited Tesla as leading the way and being the company to catch up to. Also, the company to learn from. It seems evident to me at this point in time that Mary Barra is not a CEO or a leader, but in fact a politician. You know, I might go a step further and say she is a swamp creature. And as we'll see further into this video, it seems like she's in great company. Let's continue.
This is where General Motors first transformed the way Americans move, and now we're doing it again.
No, Mary. Tesla is the company who have single-handedly transformed the way people not only in America, but globally get around. Tesla single-handedly catalyzed the entire automotive industry transitioning to electric vehicles or going bankrupt. Tesla deserves the credit. How do you think employees of Tesla feel when you hear somebody like Mary B.S. Barra claiming that General Motors are leading the way? General Motors has transformed the way Americans move about. This is what's known as a false narrative. And not only is this brazen lie being perpetuated by government motors, wait, is that what GM stands for? I can't remember. There is clear collusion between General Motors and the President of the United States / the Democratic Party and the United Auto Workers Union to propagate this false narrative. This is how you fool ill-informed, easily misled citizens.
I personally have never been more optimistic about our company and our industry.
What a load of bullshit. Now, first of all, I mean, honestly, Mary Barra is no moron. She cannot possibly actually believe what she's saying because she understands Tesla is eating GM's lunch and they are unequivocally fucked. And second, maybe I'm reading into the tea leaves a little bit much here, but maybe you guys and girls watching can let me know in the comments below if any of you are body language experts. Did anyone else notice that Mary Barra appeared to be shaking her head while claiming to be more optimistic about her company than ever before? Maybe I'm just hallucinating.
I personally have never been more optimistic about our company and our industry. And now I want to turn the program over to UAW President Ray Curry.
And now, before we hear from the UAW President, by the way, if anyone's unsure, UAW is a union for automotive workers. I'd first like to provide some extremely important context, some comments from the President of not the United Auto Workers Union, but the United States, discussing the United Auto Workers Union. Please make sure you're sitting down for this because this is seriously unbelievable, yet true. This is a real video.
I want to say something else up front. I'm standing here because about 180 years ago, when I first got elected to the Senate, Gov, the UAW elected me. We used to have the highest percentage of auto workers of any state in the nation because we had a small workforce and 2 giant plants plus Mopar and a few other things going on. So I want to thank you.
Honestly, I don't even know where to start. Now, given the fact that Joe Biden is currently suffering from early stages of dementia, we can probably give him a pass on the fact that he suggested that he was first elected to the Senate 180 years ago, although given his current state of cognitive decline, that may actually be an accurate statement. I'm not sure, I haven't looked into his background and his history. But the thing that truly stuns me is Joe Biden literally admitted the UAW elected me, referring to the fact that his state, when he was elected, had the highest number of automotive workers in the United States. Union workers, of course. He literally said this. Now, maybe the penny is starting to drop a little bit for some of you folks watching along at home here. The president literally said out loud, I mean publicly, just think about that for a minute.
The UAW elected me.
And there is one additional point I would like to make just to provide some further evidence as to whether or not the President of the United States may have some bias towards the UAW, whether or not there may be some underlying reasons and motivations for what I see as brazen, shameless corruption. And that, of course, is political bribery. I mean, contributions or donations, whatever they're called, but they are just bribes. We are currently looking at political contributions from the UAW by political party going back the last 3 decades, 30 years to 1990. I know it's not quite 180 years, but it may give us a little bit of insight into why this current president of the United States seemed to be deep-throating the UAW's eggplant at every given opportunity. Notice these bars of blue? They're contributions from the UAW to the Democrats. In red, the tiny speck that you can barely see, Republicans. Now, does anyone notice a trend here? Does it seem like literally 99% of all political donations from the UAW have gone to the Democrats for the last 3 decades? Am I hallucinating, or is that the impression that you also get? Millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of dollars of bribes, contributions, almost exclusively going to the Democratic Party of the United States. Why would that be? Of course, this definitely wouldn't influence any of the policies of the current leader of the Democratic Party, would it? Of course not. Nothing to see here. Let's move on. So I think that provides some relatively important context here. Biden himself, literally saying out loud, unbelievably, I'm astonished. I thought that was a deep fake at first. It's not. I had to go fact check. Honestly, literally saying that the UAW elected him to the Senate. And then we look at the political contributions, aka bribes, from the UAW to both major political parties in the US and discovered that pretty much every donation, every dollar has gone to the Democrats. And by the way, just to be clear, I'm not actually suggesting that in this case the UAW is doing anything wrong whatsoever, although if you want to look into the history of some of the leaders, the corruption, the number of people currently serving time in prison for corruption, stealing funds, siphoning money, these kind of things in the UAW, feel free to go down that rabbit hole, it's quite astonishing. But in this particular case, the UAW, I don't think they're actually doing anything wrong. The onus falls entirely on the political parties who've been receiving these supposed donations and are now enacting policies that are clearly biased in favour of their so-called donors. And with that important context out of the way, we're now going to hear very briefly from the president of the UAW and then the president of the United States. And maybe you guys will notice a little bit of a circle jerk happening here. Just thinking out loud here, let me know what you guys think in the comments below.
Most of all, I'd like to thank President Joe Biden. Thank you, Mr. President, for standing up with what's most important, jobs. And today, we stand committed together. Here is another example of what can be done when parties work together.
When parties work together, aka collude? Just thinking out loud again.
The ability to increase jobs, good paying union jobs, and in fact, build electric vehicles of the future. And Mr. President, you are the first president that I can recall standing up and using the word union.
You can't make this shit up, and he's right, of course. Joe Biden has shamelessly taken every opportunity available to him to deep-throat the UAW's eggplant, saying the same things over and over and over. Good paying union jobs, unions built the middle class, union this, union that, union. But of course that has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that the UAW, the United Auto Workers Union, elected him to the Senate, nor has this anything to do with the fact that the UAW has been donating/bribing almost exclusively the Democratic Party for the last 3 decades. There is absolutely no relationship here whatsoever. It is a total coincidence, because if it wasn't, that would seem, at least in my uninformed opinion, to be very brazen and clear corruption, and we couldn't have that from the President of the United States now, could we?
And Mr. President, you are the first president that I can recall standing up,
bending over,
and using the word union.
And by using the word union, of course, I really mean taking our eggplant. Did I say that out loud? Yeah, I did. I mean it.
And Mr. President, when you use the word union, you back it up. Your support of the kill, destab, and all provision will also make sure subsidies for EVs go to American manufacturers, good paying UAW GM jobs like here at Factory Zero.
And just in case anyone is a little bit unclear about what the UAW president is referring to when he talks about Joe Biden using the word union and then backing it up, we are of course referring to the $4,500 tax credit available exclusively to purchasers of union-made electric vehicles in the United States. Because that is completely fair and unbiased and doesn't favour the UAW whatsoever, that completely aligns with the supposed goal and mission of these incentives to help transition people away from internal combustion engines towards an electric emission-free future, right? Makes complete sense. It's totally not biased, and there's definitely no evidence whatsoever of corruption here. So now it's over to the UAW eggplant gobbling, taking, whatevering President of the United States, Joe, elected to the Senate 180 years ago by the UAW, Biden.
God, it's good to be back in Detroit. And that Hummer's one hell of a vehicle, man. Yo! This truck, 3 times heavier. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Whoa! And besides, there's a beautiful red Corvette, maroon Corvette I'm driving home over here.
Now, look, I don't want to be too hard on the guy here. After all, he is suffering from the early stages of dementia. But do you really think it's appropriate at this big electric vehicle factory opening, talking about how important EVs are, blah, 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 to then be mentioning that you're going to be driving home in an internal combustion engine vehicle and making a point of that? Just asking the question. Seems a little bit strange to me.
I want to thank the team here at GM, especially to your chairwoman, Mary Barry. Mary, you're an incredible leader. You really are.
If by leader you mean an incredible captain of the fucking Titanic, then sure.
The first ever all-electric Hummer, which I first got to check out back in August when GM brought one to the White House lawn, in the South Lawn, along with the electric Ford 150 and the electric Jeep Wagoneer. Masterpieces of modern manufacturing, built by union workers, and proof that America has what it takes to win the competition of the 21st century. And Dan and Debbie are responsible for the additional tax credit of $4,500 for union-made vehicles.
Don't worry, this isn't corruption. It's fine. By the way, how's that eggplant taste, Brandon?
And it starts here in Detroit. In the auto industry, Detroit's leading the world in electric vehicles.
This is categorically false. I mean, this is factually incorrect. Shout out to Gordon. I mean, there's nothing accurate about this statement at all. And it's unbelievable that the President of the United States would say this out loud. Maybe that eggplant in the throat's kind of battered his head around enough that he's suffering brain damage. Now, this really matters, and I'll explain why. Now, sorry to rain on the parade of any of the Biden simps watching here, but this is evidence of a willingness to intentionally make false and misleading statements that you know to be completely detached from reality. This isn't an opinion. There is no debate here. Tesla is leading the way, and China are leading the way. The only thing that Detroit is leading is the race toward imminent bankruptcy. So just to spell things out for those of you who are either dull and or deluded, it seems quite clear that President Biden is capable, at least in this very narrow domain. He certainly wouldn't do this in any other areas of his presidency, obviously not, but in this one small domain, is capable of knowingly and willingly, brazenly lying, saying things that are completely false and absolutely detached from reality based on some of the money that's been flowing into the... Oh wait, no, I didn't say that. It's got nothing to do with those donations. That's a coincidence. Now, at this point in the video, I just once again, unequivocally, in no uncertain terms, want to share how I personally feel about this.
Let's go, Brandon!
Another perfect opportunity to remind everybody watching that now is the time to pick up your own limited edition Let's Go Brandon merch. Check out the card in the corner or the link in the description. If you want some, now is the time. This will not be available in the merch store for very long. There's shirts, long sleeves, hoodies, phone cases, tough cases, stickers, mugs, and plenty more, so check out the link in the description. And once again, if you're unsure what this means, well, I'm not going to explain it, but it does explain exactly how I feel.
Let's go, Brandon!
You know how critical it is? Mary, I can remember talking to you way back in January about the need for America to lead in electric vehicles. And I can remember your dramatic announcement that by 2035, GM would be 100% electric. You changed the whole story, Mary, wherever you are. There you are. You did, Mary. You electrified the entire automobile industry. I'm serious. You led. and it matters.
You know, I've got to say, it's pretty impressive that Joe can speak so clearly with the UAW's eggplant lodged deep in his throat. Not one statement that Joe made there was even slightly true. Not one. How do you think it makes a Tesla worker who's been slaving away, working crazy hours for minimal pay, sure they get stock options, but they're doing it for the mission, slaving away at this company, single-handedly transforming the entire automotive industry, single-handedly moving the entire industry towards EVs? How do you think it makes a Tesla worker feel when the President of the United States is praising General Motors for leading the way? Tesla and Tesla employees deserve 100% of the credit. It's disgusting. This is absolutely abhorrent behavior from a president. There's no other way around it. I mean, let's recap what this fuckface just said. He claims that General Motors, by announcing that they would be fully electric in a decade and a half, led the way. One more time. GM planning to be fully electric by 2035 is, quote, leading the way. But wait, there's more. Biden also emphasizes this blatant lie by saying, "You did, Mary," and further adding, "You electrified the whole automotive industry." What the fuck is this guy talking about? And just in case anyone isn't buying this bullshit, he continues and says, "I'm serious. You led, and it matters."
And drastically improving the climate by reducing hundreds of millions of barrels of oil that will not be used when we're all electric. You know, up until now, China's been leading in this race.
No. Tesla and China, as in Tesla, a United States-based company, and China have been leading the race. Why is it that Joe is unwilling to utter the word Tesla ever? Just literally has never said it and won't? Nothing to do with the UAW and the eggplants and the money, right? Total coincidence, once again. Nothing to see here, no corruption. Let's move on.
But that's about to change. We're going to make sure that the jobs of the future end up here in Michigan, not halfway around the world. You know, that means that here in Detroit, you're going to set a new pace for electric vehicles. This is not hyperbole, this is a fact. With this infrastructure law, along with my Build Back Better plan, we're going to kickstart new batteries, materials, and parts production and recycling, boosting the manufacturing of clean vehicles with new loans and new tax credits, creating new purchase incentives for consumers to buy American-made, union-made clean vehicles, like the electric Hummer. Folks, or the Silverado, or any other of the 20 or more vehicles that GM's going to come out with in the near term that are electric.
That's right, you heard it here first, folks. The only way to help move people off fossil fuel-based vehicles in the United States is if you buy union-made vehicles by General Motors workers, which, by the way, most of them aren't actually available to buy yet, but they'll be coming in the near term.
And spurring demand by covering federal government's enormous fleet of vehicles is what I'm going to do. I pledged when I ran. We have thousands and thousands of vehicles in the federal fleet. They're going to all go electric, all of them, down the road.
You guys notice the caveat there? They're all going to go electric down the road. Now, why would that be? I mean, after all, we've just seen a company like Hertz order literally 100,000 Tesla vehicles. Is it possible that the US government could also order 10,000, 100,000 electric vehicles from Tesla and transition their fleet much sooner? Of course. Does anyone get the feeling that they're going to be bent over waiting for General Motors to deliver some vehicles into their orifice? Let's move on.
I truly believe, and I give you my word as a Bidenist, I truly believe that 50 years from now, historians are going to look back at this moment, the last 2 years and the next 4 or 5 years,
as the single most embarrassing, shameless, and corrupt presidency in the history of the United States of America. Oh, sorry, I cut him off. Let's see what he has to say.
Folks, I'm betting on America. I'm betting on the American people. We got to focus on what made the nation great. I have no problem with people on the Wall Street, bankers and others, fine. But they didn't build America. The middle class built America. And unions built the middle class.
Hope you guys and girls have enjoyed today's video. I can't stay quiet when I see this kind of stuff. I know lots of people butthurt, unsubscribed, oh my god, Orange Man bad. I don't give a fuck, okay? I'll call a spade, and this spade is the spadiest spade that's ever spaded. Now, if you're feeling a little bit down after watching today's video, a little bit depressed, a little bit, you know what, this kind of sucks, don't worry, I have the perfect solution. Sign up to Patreon with the card in the corner or the link in the description, gain access to a ton of exclusive content, exclusive Q&As, and my exclusive Tesla stock price targets, which are always up to date. Hopefully that can brighten up your day. Now, with that said, I'd love to know what you guys think. Tell me in the comments below, do you also, like me, believe that Joe Biden is extremely corrupt? And the evidence of this is the very fact that he's brazenly and openly talking about the UAW, union jobs, proposing this insane $4,500 additional incentive to people buying union-made electric vehicles, which basically means GM, Ford, and Fiat Chrysler/Stellantis vehicles in the US. Totally fucking over Tesla, Toyota, and other manufacturers, even though the supposed agenda is electric vehicles, not electric vehicles made by union workers. And do you also find it absolutely repugnant that the President of the United States is intentionally snubbing Tesla, refusing to give them credit that's due, and instead dishonestly and deceptively heaping that credit on an undeserving company like General Motors? Tesla is one of the most inspiring stories in the history of the United States. They should be lifted up as an example for other companies, and instead they are being completely ignored. It's disgusting. So there's just one final thing that I want to say, and I want to do so in no uncertain terms. Make sure it is crystal clear so nobody mistakes my meaning. No codes, no memes. I would just like to say, fuck Joe Biden. Did everyone catch that? Just want to make sure, okay? I said, fuck Joe Biden. To call this guy a bad person would be an insult to human beings, so I think the term swamp creature would be appropriate. Now, just to be clear, I'm not making commentary on anybody else, just the subject at hand, which happens to be the president who's proposing these insanely biased incentives and making false statements, lying and misleading the general public, saying things that are completely disconnected from reality, praising a company like General Motors for leading the way in terms of electrification. It's not cool, it's not honest, and it's not on. Just finally, I want to respond because I know there's going to be a few people in the comments below. There always are. I just want to address the brain dead morons. And how do you know if you are a brain dead moron? Here's how you know. If, upon hearing some criticism about Joe Biden, which is fair and valid criticism, your immediate reaction was, oh my god, what about Trump? And you decided to deflect, and instead of talking about the issue at hand, oh my god, this person's worse, that person's worse, Orange Man bad. These kind of responses demonstrate that you are an emotional infant. Rather than your thinking faculties being in charge, your feelings are. This is not a good way to live your life. If some fair and valid criticism is raised about something, if your reaction is instead of taking that on board and considering it and discussing the issue at hand, you instead want to talk about something or someone else, you have a lot of work to do. And now that I've purged this channel of more snowflakes, don't let the door hit you on the way out, I'd just like to finally mention once again my ultra limited edition Let's Go Brandon merch. Check out the card in the corner or the link in the description. It won't last long, so if you're interested, now's the time. There are shirts, long sleeves, hoodies, mugs, phone cases, stickers, and tons more. So get in quick while they last. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem. And
Let's go, Brandon!
And don't forget the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card where you can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase. There's a link in the description. You can also earn up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, also linked below. And finally, don't forget your free stocks with WeBull and Stake, also linked in the description. These great offers also help out the channel. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.